Hi, guys, this is Explained Everything here. In this video I am going to explain you movie called Big Brother. So let's get started. Henry has retired from US military and came back to Hong Kong. In search for job he goes to his old school, but principal didn't keep him as teacher because of his 0-year teaching experience. But then Henry takes out an recommendation letter from higher authorities. He gets the job, but principal inform him that the class he has got is worst. The next day, Henry enters the class and sees everything is disorganized and students are playing video games, some are singing, others are cooking noodles. After he walked in, no one was paying attention to him and doing what they want to do. So he tries to get the attention of student, by going around and commenting on what they are doing. When students finally starts listening to him, he wrote down his name and phone number in blackboard. Someone in student calls and tells him to get out of the class. Soon kids start ignoring him and do their activities. Henry uses rubber band and chalk to alert the fire sprinkler. Everyone in class spreads out, so they could not get wet. Henry was standing with an umbrella and introduced himself to the class. When the class got dismissed, the group of 5 boys went to sports room for smoking. The leader of the group, Jack, has a crush on an A-grade girl. Suddenly their competitors' group arrived and mocks them, because they are rich. Then we see the rich kids group are practicing basketball. Jack throws a bottle in basketball court, which his English teacher sees, and gave them detention. To skip the detention they prank the English teacher and escape. On the other hand, we see school's 20% funds has been cutted by Education Board. People from the board will come to school to check where the fund has been used. At the same time, Henry enters the classroom. We see that student have set bucket full of water on the door, but Henry kicks it away, with his reflex. Which is like me, haha. Everyone was surprised. He asks Jack for the packet of cigarette. He takes out one piece and asks the class, name the 3 ingredient which is used to make it. Zufa named the 3 ingredients and he was allowed to skip the class. Then, Henry gives all student one piece of cigarette, and tells them analysis it. Henry knows that if he will tell directly, that cigarette is harmful to health, no one will listen to him. Then Henry started teaching them about cigarette, and for the first time all of the class is listening to him and are interested in learning. After the class gets over in the canteen, the leader of basketball group started mocking one of Jack's friend. Both groups gets into argument, soon turns into fight. They threw food and table on each other, and destroys the area. Henry has been told that 5 students from his class has been suspended for fighting. Henry finds Jack fighting and stops him. On calming down, Jack tells this is injustice, rich kids never get punishment. Same day, Henry goes through file of all 5 students, and came to know that Zufa is a Pakistani immigrant, who is always discriminate due to his race. He also accused for stealing. Zufa only wants to become a musician. The second girl, her name is Dinan, who always wants her father to love her. Her father wanted a son, and after the birth of his brother, he was treated like prince, but her father do not ever noticed her. Then, there are brothers named Bruce and Chris. Their mother left them run with a rich man. Single parent made his father alcoholic. So, they both have to depend on themselves. Bruce get addicted to video games and Chris works hard to run his family. Lastly, Jack, Henry couldn't find anything about his family. We see that Jack is working at restaurant as waiter. An MMA better Jianying arrives restaurant, with his partners. While Jianying was busy talking, Jack tries to steal his fancy lighter, but he got caught, and got beaten up. But when Jianying sees his ID and came to know that he is a student, he leaves him and give him some money. And offers him a job, as his food delivery man. Meanwhile, Henry reaches Zufa's home and finds him running from his father and other people after stealing a ticket. At first Henry helps him, but as soon as he knows the reason why he is running, he takes his father's side. Then Zufa was hanging out on a bridge. To motivate him he starts singing with the band nearby, seeing that Zufa also joins him, and for the first time he sings in front of people. Meanwhile, Bruce and Chris' father came home late, and tell them to bring a beer from store, but they refuse to bring. His father got angry and tells them to get out of his house. The next day Henry meets their father, and convince him to go rehab for his son's shake. In the same time, Dinan's father bring a makeup bag, and tells her to act like a girl. Dinan is angry at his father, because he always makes her feel like she is trash. She applies makeup on her younger brother and, run out of the house with car key. She is about to drive his father's car but Henry stops her and tells, it is illegal to drive a car without a license. And suggests an alternative. After that, they go to go-kart race track with his father also. In race father and daughter, shows no mercy to each other and drive out of the track. Dinan's go-kart is hit by a vehicle, but dodged it. But her father thinks that she is dead. Her father started crying. Dinan realizes her loves her very much and hugs him. The next day, Bruce and Chris are sent to rehab center to interview the alcoholic. They got shocked when they see the person they have to interview, is their father. The students ask him why he started drinking. He tells when her wife left him in very critical moment of life. Since then he started drinking, and forget he has 2 sons to take care of. They both started crying. Meanwhile, we see Jack has started working with Jianing. He offers Jack lots of money to drug the upcoming fighter but he refuses, then he was forced to accept the offer. On the fight day Jianing bets on lose a fighter. Jack was putting drugs in the drink but, he was caught before he could tell anything. He was beaten up and locked inside a locker. Later, Henry walks in there and asks them about Jack. The man told him to go to home but, Jack yells from locker. After finding out this, Henry attacks them and defeats them easily. When fighter steps in, it gets little tough for Henry but ultimately he overpower him also. Following scene Henry is at hospital to get treated his wounds. The news gets to media and Henry, is known as the man who beats a fighter to save his student. He became popular in school and students started respecting him. A flashback is shown Henry, also used to be a prankster when he was in school. He threw a water balloons at a student who was playing piano for his parents. Later he fought the same student and break his hand. For that he was suspended, and he had to fly to US. In school, everyone is paying attention to what Henry is teaching and study hard for upcoming final exam. Due to Bruce Pill's addiction, he jumps from the balcony. And gets admitted to hospital and goes in coma. Media twisted the news and blames, all on school and Henry. The officials board kicks out Henry from school. When Henry packs his things and leaves the school, the students follows him. Students decides we will make him proud by scoring in finals. Jack, along with all the classmates have got a text from Henry, asking them to meet him in the school. 1 hour before the exam they gather and find out it was Jianing, who is tricking with them. So they could not reach examination hall at time. Later, Henry arrives and finds out what Jianings have planned. Henry free all the students and tells them to reach examination hall. Here Henry fights with Jianing and his man. Henry defeats all Jianing's man. While fighting with Jianing, Henry came to know he is the kid on whom Henry throws balloons and break his hand. Since then he has not touched piano. Henry tries to convince him but he attacks him, they both fight for a knife. Henry takes the knife and has opportunity to kill him but, he doesn't kill him. He asked for an apology for what he did and went away. After few weeks everyone is happy. Jianing has started playing piano, student have passed the exam, school have got 20% bonus funds, Bruce have recovered and promised to give next exams, and Henry returns to teaching. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to this video.